Hi there guys, and welcome back to a new episode. In this one we are looking at Bngo and giving my personal forecast on Bngo into the next week. Well, of course, over the past month we have seen a lot of growth in the share price. We are now up by about 97%. In this episode we talk about if this is sustainable and what we might see in the next 5 days. Well guys, obviously I am not a financial advisor, but in this episode I'm giving all of my personal opinions on Bngo. If you might enjoy that, please do leave a like and subscribe because we are trying to grow the channel. I need to say a massive thank you to everybody that has supported us so far. Let's keep the growth going, and with that being said, we're going to jump straight in. So yeah guys, very interesting over the past 5 days with Bngo. Obviously we have seen a lot of volatility in the share price. We're up about 24% on the whole week, which actually is quite a significant increase. Now if you remember, only a few days ago we were talking about Bngo being quite negative. From this high point here of about $12.58, we sold all the way off down to here, which was about a 9% decrease, bringing about $1.20 off the share price. But obviously ever since then we have seen quite a big increase, and I do believe that we are coming close, if not have actually broken past these highs. So yeah, we have now broken past these highs, and this one really is starting to move back up. I think there are a lot of reasons for this, and I think this company honestly does have some big potential. And I was talking about this in past episodes where I said yes, it is pretty flat for now, but that's not necessarily a bad thing, because when we are looking at a company like Bngo, we do need to look at the long term on this one, because the potential absolutely is there. We're going to be talking about this in just a moment, but I think the fact this one is starting to go back up now is actually a fantastic thing, because Bngo stock really is one of these companies that does have that long-term potential to explode into the future. So currently the price of about $13.70 in my personal opinion is still a bit undervalued, and I think this one will continue to grow going forwards. But of course this episode is focusing more on the next week, but more long-term I definitely do believe there is a lot of potential for this company. So guys, we've talked about what the company does in previous episodes. Obviously they work in the genomics field. It is in the name, of course, and what this means is they can detect a lot of illnesses before they even show up. It's a very interesting sector, and of course I am not a scientist, I can tell you that for certain, so I'm not even going to try and explain it, but you can have a quick look at what they do on their website. It's very interesting stuff, and it really does have a lot of potential going into the future. This is one of these companies which is developing something that can be widely used in the real world. It has real world application, and I think this will help the company's revenues going into the future. I think it will also improve the share price, so I really do see that potential long term with this one. So even if it was to drop into the next week, I think this one is more of a long term hold. Again, we've talked about this one, how it can have big growth in this sector. Now this is Japan, but pretty much every country is showing the similar graph, if not better. So of course in this field a lot of growth is anticipated. Look at this one from 2020 up until 2027. We can see this one is anticipated to grow by quite a significant amount, and it could even be more than that. You know, this is just an estimation, but I definitely do believe it shows how much growth is potentially in this field for a company like Bngo, and how much potential they really do have to improve their share price and all that kind of good stuff. So I really can see that long-term growth in the company. Another thing which I quickly wanted to talk about is this one from the Nasdaq.com, and it's talking about how the earnings are speculated to come out on March the 9th. Now don't get me wrong, this is quite some time away, but I did think it is quite significant because it is something that you may want to know. Now don't get me wrong, this one is not guaranteed. It is based on an algorithm which is taking into consideration the company's previous earnings dates, but I think it is interesting, and I think the earnings hopefully are going to be pretty decent for this period. I think if that is the case, we'll hopefully see some more good things going forwards, but ultimately the fact that Bngo has broken out in the past few days is a fantastic thing indeed. I've said it before in this episode and I will say it again, I think it is undervalued at the current price. I definitely think it should be hitting $20, if not even more than that, by the end of the year, and I really do see that long-term potential for this company going forwards. So personally, into the next week, I think this one could see a bit of a sell-off on the Monday, and you know what guys, I would not, the Tuesday, because markets aren't open, but yeah, I think that's not the worst thing in the world guys. I think if this one is to go down by a bit, fair enough. We've seen a big increase in about one or 2 days, and of course if it was to drop a bit after that, it is to be anticipated, as people are probably taking quite decent profits, so I would not be too concerned about that one. I think into the next week overall, for the later days in the week, I definitely think this one could be relatively flat, if not take a small turn to the upside, but I would definitely like to see us stay above this previous price of about $11 mark. I think we could definitely remain in the $13 mark, or maybe even the $12 mark. I think if we can remain at that point, it will indicate that this one is going to see a bit of strength going into the next week after that. But I think next week, this upcoming week, is going to be pretty flat. I think it could see a bit of a turn to the downside on the earlier days, and I don't think that's too bad at all, because we have seen a very stark increase in share price. So to see this one sell off a bit would not be too concerning in my personal opinion. But I think, yeah guys, if you are willing to get into Bngo, I'd definitely wait to see what happens on market open to see if this one does drop. And if it was to drop in the first few days, maybe the Tuesday or the Wednesday, I think that would definitely be a perfect point to enter this one. And if you are going to be entering it, I definitely think this is one where, yes, it could increase by another 100% in the next month, the next 2 months. But of course, personally, I'm going to take it with a more conservative approach. I would be buying this one for more of a long-term hold. And of course, even if it was to sell off by about, 100% increase, say in a month, for example, that's just a hypothetical. But if it was to go up by 100% in a month, maybe it could be a perfect time to take profits and of course sell off. But realistically, guys, I definitely think this one could hit $20 in the next year for sure. And I definitely think it could even hit higher than that. So in my personal opinion, it is a long-term hold. But if we were to see a big increase in share price in a small amount of time, I definitely would be taking those profits, as I'm sure a lot of people would do. But guys, please do tell me what you are doing with Bngo into the next week down in the comments. Do you think it's going up? Do you think it's going down? I'd love to hear what you have to say down below. And of course, with that being said, thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoy the rest of your Valentine's Day. Thank you. Goodbye.